Hey there, welcome to the affiliate orientation for Podpage. I am Brendan. I created Podpage and I'm excited to walk you through the program. I'm excited that you're here and I'm very thankful that you want to be a part of this. So let's dive right in. We're going to talk about five things today. We're going to talk about Podpage, we're going to talk about the affiliate program, then we're going to talk about getting leads. I'm going to go over a case study and then we'll talk about some of the resources that we've built to support you. So I'm excited. There's contact info at the end. I'm hoping to keep this to 15 or 20 minutes um, and make this really, really impactful for you. So first of all, why do podcasters use Podpage? This is a question that you're going to have to become intimately familiar with answering because you're the ones who are turning around and trying to get other podcasters to use Podpage. So Podpage is by far the simplest way to create a Podpage or a podcast website. There's just nothing else like it. You come to the site. If you have an existing podcast, you enter your RSS feed or you just enter your podcast name. And we take all of the episodes in your podcast feed and we create a fully functional website in about 15 seconds. We also will go to Apple Podcasts, we'll go to Podchaser, we'll go to a bunch of other places to pull in other content. So we'll pull in reviews from Apple Podcasts, we can pull in videos from YouTube, and it all takes almost no time at all. We turn around and we show you your website in about 20 different podcast focused templates. Makes it easy to choose it, customize it with your colors, and then you never really have to come back and look at it again. So it's super podcaster specific and it's very, very easy. Now, a lot of people, when they sign up for a podcast host, will get sort of a basic website. And so why are we better than that? We are significantly more powerful. The sites you get from Buzzsprout and Libsyn and all of the other ones are great, varying degrees of greatness depending on what you're looking for. But typically, you can't customize them. They don't have tools to actually communicate with your audience. They're very, very straightforward. You know, you think about this company that does podcast hosting, all of their effort and their technologists and everyone is working on hosting your media and getting it to the podcast players. Very rarely are they thinking about the websites they create. Maybe they do a sprint and will improve them once a year, but they're not thinking about it every single day like Podpage is. And so our sites are significantly more powerful than all of the ones out there. And that's okay. That's not what they focus on, just like we don't provide hosting. We like to really focus on making the podcast website amazing. And so that's what podcasters will get from us. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, there's WordPress, which is super complicated. And so Podpage is way easier to set up than WordPress. You know, when you launch a WordPress site for free, you have to get the site up, you have to get hosting, set up backups. You're having to install a bunch of plugins. And a lot of these you have to pay for the pro features, and you end up spending a lot more than you actually just spend building a podcast website on Podpage. You have to get a designer, you have to find a template. And then once you've done all this great work, you log in, and because you have to upgrade different things are broken, and you have to start all over. We get a ton of customers who are WordPress customers coming over to Podpage because they're just sick of dealing with all of the upkeep of their WordPress site. We're also totally automated. Once you've set up a website, you really don't have to do anything unless you want to get really proactive in like writing blog posts and stuff. But we import stuff from all over and we push stuff to all over. So you can collect mailing list entries on your pod page that go to ConvertKit. You put your YouTube videos on YouTube, they come into Podpage. You release an episode, that comes into Podpage. It's all automated. It's set it and forget it. It makes a podcaster's life so much easier because they can focus on creating great content as opposed to updating and dealing with their website. All of this is done with no code. So any single human being who can point and click on a browser can build a website. They don't have to know any code for this to work. All these websites are fully search engine optimized, and we set it up so they don't have to worry about it. And because of this, podcasters love it. I launched it in 2020, and I launched it actually as a side project. And so many podcasters saw a website that I built for a friend that they wanted their own because they saw how easy it was and how just it does everything you needed to do. And so people adore it. The good news about that is if you can just get it in front of someone who's trying to figure out a website solution for their podcast, whether they're new or whether they're sick of WordPress, if you can get it in front of someone, it's very likely they'll convert, which is the best kind of product to be an affiliate for. So we've done the work on creating a great product that users love. All we need to do from you, all you need to help us with is getting in front of the right people. So let's talk about what the affiliate program, the details of it. The entire affiliate experience on your end is powered by your affiliate link. So you log into affiliates.podpage.com, which is powered by a company called Rewardful, and they'll give you your link. And essentially what you do is you take that link and you just spread that around and incorporate that into the content or whatever you're going to do. So if you go to podpage.com with a question mark, via equals that's your token. So they're going to give you this token. If yours could be Dave, right? Via equals Dave. Now, if you put that via equals at the end of any Podpage link, blog via Dave, podpage.com/features via Dave, it's going to tag you as the affiliate, which is awesome because you might see a page on Podpage that isn't our homepage that you think is super compelling. You want to send someone there. That's awesome. It's going to be tagged with your link. So um, definitely like log into the affiliate dashboard and grab your link because this is what you'll use for everything. Tracking those referrals is done through Rewardful also. So you're going to log in and you're going to see in Rewardful, they're going to give you three basic numbers. One is the visitors. So this is how many people you sent to Podpage. Second is leads. That's the people who you sent to Podpage who created a website. And then there's conversions, people you sent to Podpage who created a website who then ended up upgrading. And what's cool about Rewardful is if you want to get complicated and you want to have different links for different activities, like let's say you're doing some YouTube videos to try to tell people about Podpage, and you're also doing TikTok, and you're also doing da 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 da. You can go in here and you can create different links, and they will track your visitors, leads, and conversions from each link. So you can do a little testing on your own. How you get paid? We typically pay the last weekday of every month. Sometimes the first day of every month. It's kind of around that time, but it's the end of the month. We try to tell you. You'll get an email from us if you have commissions due. We pay via PayPal. We'll pay once your commission reach $5, which basically is one conversion, and we do lock the commissions. We lock them in 30 days after upgrade because we give customers about 30 days to tell us if they don't like it and ask for a refund. So once that period is over, then the commissions are locked in. We have 3 levels to our affiliate program. Everyone joins at the standard level. And so this is where you start. You get 20% of commission of the revenue for 24 months. So that means if a customer sticks with us for 2 years, and let's say they pay for a year on day 1, you'll get a 20% of that. And then a year later, if they renew, you'll see another another credit in your account for that. Once you've referred 10 conversions, we will bump you up to the gold level. And the gold level is 30% for 24 months. Once you refer 100 conversions, which we know that it's very hard to do and not a lot of people are going to do it, it's really that top tier of our affiliates, we're going to bump you 30% for forever. This says 250 leads. Also, we're considering that. I would say at this point we will be doing the 100 conversions, and then we'll be chatting with people as sometimes we see people who can refer a lot of people, and for whatever reason they're not converting. So that on a case by case basis, at the 250 lead level, we'll actually chat with you and see if it makes sense to bump you to platinum. The reason that this isn't a black and white that will happen at 250 is we've seen some people game the system where they'll refer a bunch of leads who will create a bunch of websites, but they'll have no conversions. So if we see 250 leads and but not quite 100 conversions, we can bump you up to platinum. But if we see 250 leads and basically no conversions, then we know it's being gamed. All right, now let's talk about getting leads. Obviously, the biggest part of being an affiliate is getting actual people to come and sign up for this service. And so here's some ideas of how you can get leads and how you can promote Podpage. So one very, very popular way to do it is write a blog post about podcast websites. The podcast host, which is one of our oldest and highest paid affiliates, did this remarkably well. I think this is a 4-year-old. It says March 25th because they update it every year, which you should always do. But this blog post has been around for 4 years. I'm pretty sure this is just about the only thing that they do to drive us affiliates. And they've done such a good job in focusing on making this blog post so valuable that it ranks high in search engine optimization. So it ranks high on Google, and it sends people. It's pretty much how they become a top affiliate. One blog post that they've really, really focused on. And so you see in this, it's not a Podpage ad. It's talking about all website stuff. But as you get into it, he starts talking about point and click website creators. And he says, but my favorite is Podpage. And then they wrote a whole Podpage review. And they have links in that review. They have links in just right there. It says create your podcast website. All of that is affiliate links that bump over to us. Now, one cool thing about this is not only does this particular blog post rank really high in Google, but because they wrote such a great Podpage review, when you search for Podpage, their review actually comes up. So people who are just looking for Podpage skip over the Podpage website, look at their review, come back to the Podpage website, and they get credit for it. So blog posts are a great place to start. Talk about why you love Podpage, why you recommend Podpage. You can also create a course. Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting saw a big hole in our educational material where we launched our product. We have some help articles, but we didn't have a really great way of walking you through using it. And so Dave started actually promoting his course instead of promoting Podpage as an affiliate. And Dave is one of our top 5 affiliates. And so, and we'll talk about Dave in a little later, but essentially, like, instead of going on to blogs and sharing his affiliate link, or sorry, going on to forums, he would go on, and anyone asking about Podpage or anyone asking about podcast websites in general, he'd be like, oh, if you want to learn about Podpage, go to schoolofpodcasting.com/learn Podpage. And this drove a ton of people, because it wasn't him saying, like, use my affiliate link. He was like, hey, I created a free resource for you to use to learn about Podpage. Go check it out. No one's going to complain about that. And so that's how he drove a ton of leads for his affiliate code. You can also record a podcast episode. If you were a podcaster, definitely do this. Talk about Podpage. Talk about why you like it. There's a lot of these. Some of these are interviews with me, but a lot of these are actually just people talking about why switch from Substack to Podpage from my podcast website. I'm not involved with that podcast, and that's one of our top affiliates, because they're constantly creating content that drive traffic for their affiliate code. And they're doing it in a way that feels helpful. It's not just like, hey, use this affiliate code. It's like, here's why I switched. If you're going to use it, if you're going to try it, please use my affiliate code. But anyway, it's a great way to do it. And then also recording a video. So they also did a video version. But this other one, like, people are creating, should I use Podpage for my podcast website? YouTube is the second most used search engine in the world. And so creating videos about this, because people are going on there and looking for Podpage, creating videos that people can watch and then click through. Again, you're creating content that is useful for people, and in return, they're clicking your link to get over and sign up. Another thing we can do is hosting a partner webinar. Dave and/or I can join a meeting with your community and talk about Podpage, talk about podcast websites, talk about whatever you want. We're happy to do this. If you have a big community and there's a lot of interest, we are more than happy to give up some time and do a webinar with you. So we do ask that your community, you at least can bring about 25 people, but if you think you can do that, then we're more than happy to schedule this. Please write us at at podpage.com, and we can set this up. These people recorded it. This is Ecamm. We did a recorded version of this. Then they released it as a podcast episode, and they released it as a YouTube episode. So that continually drives interest and relevant traffic, even after we do it. So please let us know if you're interested in doing this. We love doing this with communities. You can also create a landing page on our website. We'll talk a little bit more about this in the resources section, but we make it pretty easy for you to create a landing page at Podpage that you can drive people to, that could also potentially be optimized for search, and you could get additional traffic through that landing page. Also, I always like to say, just give advice. Go on to Facebook, get into all the podcasting groups, start just helping people be better podcasters. Don't do it for just websites. Just get into being in a community and get into giving people advice. And as you do that, people will look to you for advice. And then when the questions are about websites come up and you recommend Podpage, or in Dave Jackson's case, he recommends checking out his course or his episode about comparing different podcasting website solutions, it doesn't feel like an ad. You're actually helping them. You're answering questions. And so you can see here, this person came into the Buzzsprout community, and just said, hey, basically said, what do you do for your podcast website? And I only have the comments listed by top comments. But if you were to look at the 54 comments, there's so many people who recommended Podpage. That's what this person ended up using. They asked the question and they were led over. So if you can be there to not only say, check out Podpage, but check out Podpage, here's a review I did. And then the person goes there, and then through that, they sign up. That's how you get your link. And it doesn't feel spammy. It feels helpful. And that's ultimately what you want to keep in the back of your mind. How do I share my affiliate link in a helpful way? Last thing I just wanted to mention is, if you are a Podpage user, you can go into your settings and you can actually add your affiliate link. And when you do that, we will automatically do a couple things. In the footer of your website, it'll say podcast website by Podpage. That becomes an affiliate link that you'll get credit for people coming from there. You also will get a short link automatically configured, yourwebsite.com/Podpage. And that will, that's just a short link that you can use, and you can just say, like, hey, if you're interested in signing up for Podpage, go to mywebsite.com/Podpage. That'll be a redirect setup that will apply your affiliate code and give you the affiliate credit. All right. Now, so let's just quickly talk about a case study. I would be remiss not to mention this. So, our top affiliate was Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting. And we're so excited that this year he joined us as head of podcasting for Podpage. And so, why did we hire him? Well, because he was an amazing person at driving interested customers over to using our platform. He was an amazing person in talking about why you should use Podpage. He was just an amazing person to think about, oh, here's how podcasters should be educated about this resource. He was the best there was. So we hired him. Um, he created this incredible Podpage course, schoolofpodcasting.com/learn Podpage, and he kept it up to date. His educational material is better than Podpage's educational material. And hiring him started with me saying, hey, would you mind if I paid you to actually just create our course for us? And that conversation sort of blossomed into, well, what if you were to come do that on our team full time? So um, the course would be awesome. You could create a course about podcast websites. And then you could go through like, oh, here's Podpage, here's WordPress, here's Squarespace, whatever, and just help people that way. He also he also used Podpage as an example in a lot of episodes. We did a couple where I came on and actually talked about Podpage, which was super helpful. And we did that, maybe once a year when we did a big release, I'd come on and chat. But he also did whole podcast episodes about podcast websites. And in there, he talked about Podpage, but not exclusively. But as you talk about it, you start to realize how much easier it is for people to use Podpage. So, example, you could maybe in a podcast website episode, you might say, oh, well, when you sign up for WordPress, you're also going to install the Pretty Links plugin. If you're on Podpage, that's all already integrated. Okay, if you're on WordPress, you might want to go to Typeform. You might want to set up a way for guests to be interested, to show interest in being on your podcast. So go to Typeform, create a form. Here's the fields, then take that, embed it on your WordPress code. But if you're on Podpage, there's just a guest intake form automatically on there. And so I think that, if you, as you just talk about the website options, you're naturally going to be driving people towards Podpage because, again, it is easier than everything else out there. He also was super involved in the community. I mean, this is not a podcast website specific thing, but if you go to most of these different podcast forums, Dave is always in there giving advice. And so when someone ends up asking about websites, he's probably going to be a pretty good voice. People are going to trust him because he's been in there already. So anyway, Dave was the best kind of affiliate, got super involved, had lots of different channels he was testing out, and drove a lot of traffic. All right, now let's talk about some of the affiliate resources that we've set up for you to be successful. And I will caveat this by saying this is new, and we want you to tell us what we can build for you because I know we can do a lot more. So at boilerplate level, if you go to mediakit.podpage.com, you're going to get sent to a Google Drive folder that'll have all of our assets. It'll have logos and color palettes and all that stuff. So go in there, use that. Tell us what you need that isn't in there because I'm sure there's other stuff we can provide to you. But right now, that's what's in there. We also can give you a landing page. So this is the Pat Flynn one. And basically a landing page has a video from you and it has a quote. And it automatically tags your affiliate code, which is cool because I've seen other people share Pat's Podpage landing page. So that's not Pat sharing it. It's other people saying, hey, look at this Podpage, or Pat recommends Podpage. These random people are sending people to his Podpage landing page. If someone signs up from this page, Pat gets the credit, regardless if they came from Pat or not. And we want to make these pages better and customize it so you can add content and you can do your own stuff on them. But right now, it's a great resource. We're just starting to roll out. If you want one of these, we need three things. Go record a 30 to 90-second video explaining why Podpage is the best website builder. Upload it to YouTube, and you need to add a compelling title that includes the word Podpage, website builder, or something that people can find, because not only will this serve as your video for your landing page, but it'll also serve as a review that other people can find on YouTube. And then just write a quote and shoot that information over to affiliates at podpage.com. We will build this page for you and send back a link. I will say that we want to make it more automated and give you more control. Again, over time, we will have that. We also have a lot of written content. So if you go to our blog, there's an article on SEO. There's an article on comparing WordPress and Podpage. There's an article on why it's critical to have a website for your podcast. And there's tons of other articles. So use all this content. Let us know how we can make it better for you to use. You're welcome to copy a bunch of the content on here for your own descriptions. So hopefully this is good, but let us know if you need anything else. And then we're here to support you. If you ever need anything, write us at affiliates at podpage.com. And we're also going to be hosting monthly meetups first of every month to share tips and connect and all that stuff. So we're really, really, really excited about this. We think that this is going to be a program that we've had around for 4 years, but we haven't spent a lot of time working one-on-one with the affiliates. We're hoping to do that a lot more. We'd love your tips. Tell us what's working. Tell us how we can to support you. And we really believe that every affiliate can get from that standard level to the gold level. And we're here to help everyone do that. Just let us know how we can do it and how we can help you. So thank you so much for joining me. Ping this email address if you have any questions, and we'll hope to see you every month at the meetup.